Benvenuti in questa nuova puntata di Meeting Coffee, format di Meeting Funnel dedicato alle interviste. Oggi abbiamo qui con noi due ospiti molto graditi. Per primo abbiamo il Console Generale dell'India a Milano, Mr. Lavanya Kumar. Welcome to Mr. Kumar. E Alessandro Medri, Segretario Generale di IBF, Indian Business of Italy. Benvenuti.
Thank you so much.
Lascio questa intervista direttamente ad Alessandro Medri che intervisterà il console indiano.
Grazie, Luca. So, Mr. Kumar, if you could just give us a brief introduction about yourself and what your role is and how long you've been in Italy for.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Alessandro. So first, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Meeting Funnel and also to IBF for giving this opportunity to share, to reach out to your members. And this, I feel that this is a very good format to reach out to the companies who are interested in India. That one. So I'm thankful to that. So before coming Italy, I served in various countries, including France, Switzerland, and also in Bangladesh. And I worked in Delhi in Ministry of External Affairs and also in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and Infrastructure Projects. And I was looking after the attracting investments from various foreign countries, including from Europe, and also encouraging private investments in infrastructure projects. So that is my brief background. So I hope that my experience will help me to work in Italy as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Thank you for joining us. As Luca has mentioned, this interview is being done in collaboration with the Consulate General, the Indian Consulate General in Milan, along with Meeting Funnel and IBF, which is the Indian Business Forum. We are a platform dedicated to networking between the Indian and Italian business communities, essentially. So I believe we can start with the interview. Today we'll cover some macro points about India. As it is one of the fastest growing markets in the world, it definitely has become a point of interest for Italian businesses. So since I have mentioned growth, I'd like to touch on that a little bit more. And what do you think are the main factors that have driven this growth, this staggering growth in the last 20 years or so?
Yeah, see, if you see, India is the only major economies in the world which is registering at 6 to 7% consistent economic growth rate, except during the COVID period. So now, if we analyze the balance sheet of India, we have one side we have strong asset of human resources, where we have the demographic dividend, the youngest population who are in the working age group. We have one side is that the strongest asset is the human resource, the young demographic dividend we have. So another side is that we have a little weakness on the infrastructure. So we have started working on these areas. So how to improve my workforce is through what we are working is the Skill India program. So through Skill India program, we aim to impart the required technical skills and working skills to the people. So on one side, while strengthening these technical skills, we are simultaneously working on the infrastructure projects. So even the bitter critics, they will find that this point that the infrastructure investment is undergoing on a massive scale in India. So let me just quote a few examples, statistics, because they represent a better picture than saying anything. One is that India's national highways, which is the first network people will see once they come out of the airports, is undergoing a massive change in India. So one is that 60% national highways have been added in the last decade. So in 2014, that means around a decade back, we had 91,000 kilometers. Today, if we see, we have around 146,000 kilometers. That means almost we have added 50,000 kilometers plus we have added the network in the past 10 years or so. So this shows how much the government is working on the infrastructure improvement. So again, in last year itself, we have added more than 12,000 kilometers of national highways. That means average growth of construction of national highways is around 33 kilometers per day. And urban mobility, one is the key important factor in the urbanizing country like India. We have 900 kilometers of metro network in India in 27 cities. So we are adding another 1,000 kilometers of metro network. It is under construction. So by the end of this year, or by the middle of 2026, the next year, we will be having the second largest metro network in the world. So now, apart from the physical infrastructure for in metros and national highways, we are also building about 7 million affordable housing projects for people under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. That is perhaps one of the largest housing programs in the world. So on one side is this physical infrastructure. Now let me also give you a few examples on the digital infrastructure, how we are making that one. So anyone who enters India, the first thing they will notice is that how easy to make transaction by using just your phone. That is through unified payment interface, which we call the UPI. So UPI transactions, when they introduced a few years back, it was like a new thing for people, because people were usually they go to banks, withdraw money and make the payments and take the change from the vendors. This was happening. So from that phase to now people, you will find many people in India don't carry cash with them. They just carry your mobile phone. The mobile phone itself is a wallet. It is the bank. So this, in the past 7 years, this digital payments has increased around 129%. So in last 1 year, in the month of May, we had around 14 billion financial transactions over phones in India. So you can see very, very well how much the physical and digital infrastructure transformation is going on in India. So I'm sure this is one of the stories of the world where such a massive scale of infrastructure investment is going anywhere in the world.
I can definitely attest to that, because I used to ride on the Delhi Metro when they had just finished it. And I remember everything was brand new, and every month there was a new stop, new line. So I can most definitely attest on the infrastructure side of things. And since you have mentioned these large infrastructure projects, how can an Italian company take part in this? Obviously, there's public tenders, there's similar activities for these large infrastructures. So how would an Italian company who wants to maybe take part in these transformation, what would be their steps, their necessary steps?
See, traditionally our trade has been little conservative, in the sense that our bilateral trade is mostly focused on engineering, electronic goods, organic, inorganic, chemicals, gems, jewelry, ready-made garments and pharmaceuticals. But given the size of advancement of Italian economy and the rapidly growing Indian economy, there is a lot of potential and scope to improve this bilateral trade. One is that on one side, Italian companies have great expertise in food processing, packaging, cold chain, logistics, machinery, leather, chemicals. So there is a lot of scope in these sectors in India to invest. And another thing is that where we appreciate really Italian expertise or we want investments is, India is the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables in the world. But our domestic processing industry, food processing industry is yet to catch up or yet to meet the full potential. So Italians on one side have great expertise in this one. So we invite Italian companies to enter into the Indian market and invest there. And there is a ready-made market, because the middle class is growing like in the big numbers in India. That is on one side. And another side is that Italian companies have great ability or technical prowess in manufacturing, particularly in machinery parts. So these units have great demand in India. On the other side, Italian furniture, there is no need to tell special about Italian furniture. Italian furniture is highly appreciated in India. So our labor force are skilled force. So Italian companies can make with the same brand in India and use India as a source, as base for manufacturing of these things. And one interesting point which I would like to add is that India is investing a lot in the development of renewable energy. So we had in the last financial year, which begins from April 1st to March in India. So we have made around 18 gigawatt of renewable energy. In the last 4 years, we have attracted around $20 billion of foreign direct investment in the renewable energy and distribution sector. So this is a great opportunity for Italian companies because there is a ready-made demand assured by the government. The economy is growing. There is a lot of electricity demand is there. So Italian companies can invest in these projects. And apart from that, I would like to add that there is a lot of investment and focus is going on ports and harbor development, because to improve the bilateral trade or with trade, one is that two factors play a key role. One is speed to innovation and risk and R&D development, how well you can quickly understand the new trends and new demand. Second one is speed to shipping. If you don't have that logistics network, you cannot ship even if you make the product. So we realized that we are making investments on that. So in ports and harbor development, 100% FDI is allowed for foreign investors. So a lot of port infrastructure and hinterland connectivity work is going on. So Italian companies you have a great number of logistics and shipping companies are there. They can definitely play a role in Indian economy in these sectors. We will really appreciate if Italian companies think about this one.
Well, I mean, there are quite a few things in India right now that have become of interest. You mentioned the energy sector, which is definitely something everybody's been keeping an eye on. I have personally been to Badla Solar Park, which is incredible, massive solar park. So quite familiar with the energy sector in India. And you mentioned also the 100% FDI route. So that brings me to another point, another question I had for you, and this pertains to measures that the government has implemented to facilitate entry in the Indian market, whether it's investment, whether it's setup of a manufacturing plant. So are there any recent measures that you would like to highlight that you think would be of interest to Italian companies?
Since 1991, when we opened up the economic reforms in India, from there we have started step by step in a gradual liberalization phase. So now, when you see the FDI policy framework, it should meet any FDI for a foreign investor. Our FDI policy, or for that matter, any country should meet three basic standards. One is that there should be a transparent one. It should be a predictable one. Another one is investor friendly. If we don't meet these three qualities, whatever measures you take, there is no use that one. So with this background requirement, we have started gradually liberalizing our sectors. One is that one thing people should need to really note is that most of the sector, except very few things like a lottery or some very few things, we have opened up on the FDI under automatic route. So, and in fact, more than 90% of the FDI inflow to India is coming through automatic route. So, over a period of time, we have started reforming the various sectors, including defense, insurance, petroleum, natural gas, telecom, space. Earlier, the defense sector, FDI was restricted to 49%. Now we have increased it to 74%. Another thing is the telecom sector, we have kept 100% FDI under automatic route. Just this year, a few weeks back, our budget was in the budget announcement. What we made is that insurance was, the FDI cap on insurance was earlier 74%. Now it is made for 100%. So Italian firms have a big role in the insurance companies which have already in India. So I am sure this will help them to further expand their business in India, that one. So one point I would like to add is that Government of India has already one index called Ease of Doing Business in States. That means different state governments compete with each other to take the benefit of cooperative and competitive federalism, where state governments compete with each other to attract the investments. So the state governments every year they are ranked at the end of the financial year to tell people that how well you have performed in this rank. And this budget we have announced that we will be introducing a new ranking called Investment Friendly Index of States. That means for a foreign investor, for an Italian or for any other country, where should I invest my money? your money is precious. You want returns and assured safety of the investment. So where should I invest? So this guide, once it comes out, this investor-friendly index will help an investor to take a choice, is to make his choice or decision that one. When we interacted with a lot of people, we noticed that the Italian companies are mainly family-owned, small and medium enterprises that one. So when we interact with many people apprehend that, oh, your incentives for foreign investors is only for big companies, not for the small ones. But this is a complete myth. So we have the state government's schemes and incentives even for the small investments, so that you can first set up your base, expand, understand the market, and then you can further expand that. For example, I would like to tell one example that the state government of Telangana, which is in the central part of India, which is like located in between India, in between the north and south, they have a unique program called Meet or Beat. That means either they will provide the same incentives where you will get anywhere across the world, or beat means they will offer better incentives than that. So they have Meet or Beat program. So several state governments have such incentives that one. So I'm sure the Italian companies will find all these sectors very enthusiastic and promising for their businesses.
And I'm sure all the different states as well, each one with their individual like benefits and policies. And these are obviously, as you know, very large states with very large potential markets of interest. So we're talking about some very interesting regions. Even within India, there's different benefits, if I understand this correctly.
True.
And so now that we've touched a little bit on the benefits, obviously I also wanted to cover a little bit about India's relationship with Italy. Because as you know, recently Italy has become a strategic partner of India. But I wanted to ask you if this will have any impact, any positive impact on current commercial activity between India and Italy, and how that would occur exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. You have correctly said that Italy is a very important partner for us in the Western Europe and also in the Mediterranean region. If we see our bilateral relations, we are already cooperating in India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, and Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, and also in Global Biofuel Alliance, and also in International Solar Alliance. So with such strong relations, it is natural for leaders to set our aim high to increase the political and economic relations. So as a result, our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, and also Prime Minister of Italy, Ms. Meloni, during G20 meeting in Brazil in November 2024, so they have announced this strategic action plan, a 5-year period from 2025 to 24. So what we want to do under this framework is that to promote industrial partnerships and encouraging mutual investments in automotive, semiconductors, this one, and also in infrastructure and advanced manufacturing investments. To certain extent, both Indian and Italian companies are participating in the trade phase, but we want to intensify that one, because business to business relations is the most important thing to expand business for any country. And also in regular interactions between our chambers of commerce. So by organizing the visits of the delegations to each other countries to see themselves what are the opportunities and what are the areas where they can invest. And the other priority sectors are green technologies, sustainable mobility, because that is one of the key areas where India wants to invest a lot, and in fact Italy is also one of the leaders in the sustainable mobility, and also encouraging joint ventures between Indian and Italian companies. So these are some of the areas we have received guidance by both leaders to work in the next 5 years.
Okay, so obviously a lot of like important sectors, especially for the future. You mentioned the green mobility. You mentioned energy, also very important in terms of like the energy transition, and we know India has been adding a significant amount of renewable energy. So it makes sense that this strategic partnership would focus on these important energy transition sectors. And on a more informal note, I wanted to ask you also if you have like any advice to give. Let's say I am an Italian entrepreneur who is looking at India as a potential place where to expand. a potential place where to invest. So what would be the advice you would give to them on approaching this giant market? Because it can be a little bit overwhelming. It is so big. So
yeah, what you said is absolutely correct. That when I interact with many businessmen, they will feel that India is such a vast size with administrative structure between states and the federal government. So it seems at the moment, when at the first instance, it seems that it is an overwhelming structure, that bureaucracy and other thing. But let me assure you that Indians share a lot of common mindset with Italians. Like Italians, we value the family ties and we love food like Italians. So there are several cultural attributes which both of us share that one. One thing is that several state governments have introduced single window clearance. So that means you will apply for clearance. So they have also added getting approvals have been made very easy in several states. For example, in some states you apply for clearance, you wait for 30 days. If you don't get any clearance in 30 days, it is automatically deemed that you got clearance. You can go ahead, except that fire clearance and those things, which is a mandatory one, of course. So like that, they have eased the process, because we realize that getting investments in today's competitive world is not an easy thing. So where you need to make a lot of processes easy so that the investor becomes confident of investing. Now, another point is that, see, India is now today the most populous country in the world with 1.4 billion people. So even if you capture 1% or 2% of the Indian market, it is just like you are having 1 or 2 European countries or some Central American country ready in your pocket. So that should give a real confidence to the people. And another thing is that now IMEC corridor, that is India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor, is going to come. And both leaders, EU President and also Indian Prime Minister, they have put the target that India-EU FTA has to be signed by the end of this year. So that means a lot of excitement is there in the business community as well, and a lot of investment opportunities are there. So it is the right time to enter to India to take this opportunity. And also, please, my single suggestion would be, please go with open mind. Don't be afraid of that you will face problems like that. You will soon find the investment environment will be welcoming. Yes, there will be some initial adjustment problems because of the cultural differences and the new country. Whenever you go to a new country, some issues will be there. I am not denying that, but you will soon find the Indian environment will be inviting you. So please go with open mind. And also one should note that I have interacted with several Italian investors who had already put in their money in their factories. So trust me, every one of them told me that India is one of the highest profit-making countries in the world for their business. So I'm sure the other people will also find these opportunities equally exciting and equally profitable.
Wow, I'm sure this will reassure a few people who maybe have looked into it and they were like, oh God, this is so big. And call it 1.4 billion people when you mention it. Yeah. It is overwhelming, but it's also a massive opportunity by its own definition. So before we conclude this interview, there's one last thing I wanted to ask you. Yeah. Obviously, we at IBF are always available also to answer companies' questions, but in case they wanted to contact the consulate for additional information, for support to travel to India, or whichever the case may be, is there any resources you make available to Italian companies?
So our consulate is ready to act as a help desk for interested Italian investors. We can provide you the preliminary information, like what are the sectors the company would like to invest, or what are the different incentives provided by the state governments for them. When they want to go to India, we can help fix meetings with the senior political leadership or the senior officials in that states or in the federal government, so that they can meet them and explain their interest that one. And also, there is a lot of potential investment opportunities across the states. We request the business chambers to encourage participation in the business delegations visits there, so that they can see the industrial parks and present their case and hear the opportunities themselves that one. And also we are ready to help any individual representative or business chambers to understand specific requirements and provide tailored guidance to them. And further, there is our Invest India team is in Delhi, which comes under the Department of Investment Promotions. There are a wonderful team is there who can provide you tailor-made guidance, and also they can handhold you from the day one, the moment you say that you are interested in doing business in India, till you start your opening the first product which comes out from the factory. So till that, they are ready to handhold you, liaise and do the groundwork for you. So you please suggest us what you want. We are ready to work with you, and we are ready to listen to your issues and provide suggestion or work with you as a team.
Fantastic. I have actually worked also with Invest India a few times. They're a great team, especially they're young and professional and dynamic. Absolutely. Which is not always the case when you're dealing with getting into a country with government. Having young people who are well studied, it is a very good thing. Yeah. And so I think that covers everything. Thank you, Mr. Kumar, for painting such a picture about India, of a country that is open for business, essentially. I think I can summarize it like that.
Yeah, and another point I would like just to add to highlight.
Yes.
Getting business visa to India is much more easier now. So once you can apply in the online itself, so that you can the email will come straight to your inbox. You take the printout and go, or keep in the phone and go. Other thing is that if anyone wants to have long-term visa like 5 years or so, we will be happy to assist, so that you have the long-term visa. You need not come to us every time. You can go straight with that visa.
Actually, I get a very frequent question on the business visa, especially the online one. How long does it take normally for it to be approved? This is a question we get every day.
Business visa and in the e-visas, it take not more than 3-4 days at max, that one. But one problem I have noticed is that people, while typing, they make a lot of mistakes in spelling their names. Naturally, the passport name and the typed name doesn't match. So they come to us saying that they have not received the visa. Then we ask them, please come to the consulate, we can help. Then they will tell that they made a mistake, so now how should I rectify? So that point, except that one, there is no delay in getting the e-visas, that one.
Yes, I have taken it many times, so I know at least. I never made mistakes as far as I know. Mine was always fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and luckily it is very, I can also ascertain it's very fast. I've never seen it take more, for me at least, than 2 days maximum.
Yeah.
And so I think that covers more or less the points that we wanted to talk about. I'd like to thank you, obviously, for your availability and your time, and the fact that you painted this picture of India that is a new dynamic country that is open for business, essentially, and that is more, and most importantly, I think, very welcoming to new opportunities coming from abroad. Yeah. And so I think I'll leave the word to Mr. Luca Vattimo, who will just give a few final remarks in Italian.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar, for your participation to Meeting Coffee, for sharing many interesting about India. It was a pleasure. Grazie Alessandro per la collaborazione, per l'intervista a Mr. Kumar, e vi ricordo che questa puntata la potrete ritrovare su Meeting Coffee, sul portale www.meetingfunnel.it. Grazie a tutti e buona giornata.
Thank you. I would like to thank Mr. Alessandro from IBF and also the Meeting Funnel, Mr. Luca, for giving me this opportunity and sharing the thoughts. So I invite the members to visit India so that they can feel the dynamism by first hand, rather than I saying that one to them. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Ultime 2 parole in italiano. Vorrei anche io ringraziare tutti a nome dell'IBF. Anche noi ci trovate su ibfitaly.it, e nel caso ci fossero domande per l'India non esitate a contattare il consolato o l'IBF, vi possiamo mettere in contatto. Grazie
Alessandro. Vi ricordo che Alessandro è presente anche su Meeting Funnel, potete contattarlo anche direttamente dal canale dedicato. Grazie e buona giornata.
Buon giorno. Thank you.